Joining us now from Washington is Representative Gardner, Republican from Colorado. He serves on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and he joins us now from his office in the U.S. Capitol. And Representative Gardner, thanks so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me on.
And real quickly, sir, our hearts go out to your constituents and the people of Colorado who are dealing with those devastating brush fires right now.
Well, thank you. It's certainly a tragedy, but they're doing great work fighting back.
Let's turn to the Supreme Court ruling today. The justices upheld the individual mandate under Congress's taxing power. They struck down the Medicaid expansion provision in a 5-4 decision. What is your reaction, and did the justices get it right?
We have said all along that this health care bill makes it more difficult for small businesses to hire people. It makes it more costly for people to buy their insurance, and if you like your insurance, you're not going to be able to keep it. The Supreme Court made the wrong decision, in my opinion. I believe that the fact that they have now given Congress a green light to tax people for not spending money is an unprecedented power.
So where does the GOP go from here? The House is moving forward to repeal the legislation the week of July 9th, but without a majority in the Senate, can you really hope to repeal Obamacare without majority?
Well, today the court spoke. On November 6th, the people will speak. We have an opportunity to elect a new Congress and a new president who will do what's right by the people of this country to make sure that we actually have health care solutions that bring down the cost while increasing the quality of care, but do so in a way that doesn't impinge on people's freedom. It's ironic that the 4th of July is next week. I think as people understand and fully digest the new power that Congress has to tax people for not spending money, they will be equally outraged.
So if you are able to repeal, what's the GOP plan?
Well, once we repeal the bill, again, we'll have that vote on July 11th, we repeal the bill and we put in place real solutions that actually work to lower the cost of care. That's making sure that we have malpractice reform, allowing people to buy and purchase insurance across state lines, to use association health plans, ideas that we know will give the private sector more of a market-based approach to lower the cost of care. But it's a patient-centered approach. It's an approach about making sure that we allow patients to control their own medical decisions. It's not about giving power to the Independent Payment Advisory Board, a board of unelected bureaucrats who will make decisions for us. That's what the president's bill does.
Okay, so with the law scheduled to go into effect in 2014, some are saying that this next election is really the last chance for repeal. How much of a campaign issue then does Obamacare become?
Well, I think it will continue to be an important issue. It was an important issue before today. It's an important position, an issue after today. I think it really goes to the heart of the kind of government we have. Will we have a government that cuts Medicare by $500 billion, increases taxes by $500 billion, adds trillions of dollars to the deficit? Or are we going to be a government that believes patients know what's best for their own health care choices, a government that believes we can reduce spending while increasing the quality of care? That's what this election is about on November 6th, and the people will make their decision.
Representative Gardner, many are predicting a budget showdown in Congress later this year. Obamacare in its entirety is expected to add hundreds of billions of dollars in new debts in the next 10 years and trillions over the long term. How does the SCOTUS ruling impact Congress's ability to put the brakes on this so-called fiscal cliff?
Well, again, this is a policy decision. Just because the Supreme Court has said this law is constitutional, it doesn't make it good policy. They didn't say anything that makes this good policy. In fact, we know that it is not good policy. And that's why we will continue to work, whether it's through the budget, whether it's through our repeal efforts to replace it with real solutions. We'll continue to do that. What the Supreme Court did today, though, what they did do is they upheld, they proved that the president broke his promise. They confirmed that the president broke his promise about not taxing the middle class. Clearly, they have now said that this president is taxing the middle class of this country.
You and other Republicans say that Obamacare is a job killer. So what is the impact of this ruling on jobs and the economy if Obamacare is allowed to stay, if repeal doesn't happen anytime soon?
Well, you've got thousands and thousands of businesses in this country who don't know what regulations are going to do to their bottom line. They're worried about how they're going to afford the mandate. They don't know what to do. I've talked to countless business owners who say that, look, they're going to break up part of their business. They're going to end up not providing the mandate. They'll suffer the penalty. Again, this is adding uncertainty to our businesses that don't need it at a time the economy continues to suffer. We face continued unemployment over 8% for the past 40 months. And again, this bill will do nothing when it comes to getting our economy back on track. In fact, it will hurt our ability to get our economy back on track.
Representative Gardner, last question for you is on a separate issue. House Republicans are moving forward to hold Attorney General Eric Holder in contempt for withholding those documents in the Fast and Furious investigation. One contempt vote is civil, the other criminal. Where do things go from here for the GOP?
Again, Eric Holder earned this subpoena vote by not complying with a subpoena from Congress. This is a power that we have to make sure that the Constitution is being obeyed, that we provide checks and balances to the other branch of government. And the fact that he has refused to comply with a congressional subpoena and then assert executive privilege by the president minutes before the hearing shows how much, in fact, he has earned this vote that's coming up. So where we go from here, we'll see what the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia decides to do with the contempt once the Congress approves it, once the House approves it. The civil contempt will be then up to the chairman about actions that he takes on a separate civil contempt against the Attorney General. All
right, we'll leave it there. Representative Gardner, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.